Due to the potentially dark and frightening content of our investigations, this episode may not be suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ghosts, spirits, demons. What are these entities? What do they want? And why are they here? My paranormal investigation crew's goal is to answer these questions and others like them.
Who are you?
Questions we've been asking for centuries.
Why are you here?
We've assembled a crew of the most dedicated enthusiasts in the area to capture evidence of these entities. What we find might be disturbing, dangerous even, but we are prepared for the journey ahead of us. The question is, are you prepared to take this journey with us? It's midnight. Follow me into the darkness, guided only by Midnight's Light. This is Midnight's Light, Paranormal. Throughout time, curiosity and mystery have surrounded the age-old fraternity known as Freemasonry. Its existence dates back hundreds of years, and its members include some of history's most well-known figures. Freemasonry's many organizations have been known for founding orphanages, senior living facilities, and even children's hospitals. Many Masonic Lodge buildings across the world have been home to the fraternity for several hundred years, creating a uniquely historic environment draped in mystery.
Freemasonry, a secret society or a society with secrets? For hundreds of years, people have wondered. Some of the answers lie within these very walls. We are here at King Hiram Masonic Lodge in West Alexandria, Ohio, investigating reports of frequent paranormal activity. Do the spirits of past brethren still attend lodge meetings and roam the halls of this sacred site?
We spoke with past master Shannon Smith, who felt he could shed more light on these topics.
All right, can you tell us a little bit about Freemasonry?
Freemasonry is nothing more than a set of teachings or values that are as old as almost as time itself. It dates back to medieval times, actually. I just did a little history study when I first became a Mason and was fascinated by it. It came to this country with the Pilgrims.
Oh, okay.
So Masonry is as old as the United States is in the United States. A lot of people think it's a cult or some off-the-wall sort of thing, and really it's just a fraternity. It's a brotherhood of like-thinking people who do their best to impress upon the minds of everybody that is involved in Masonry the differences between right and wrong, how to conduct oneself in the company of other people, how to treat your fellow man. Every type of man in the world has the privilege of being a Mason, no matter what his religious beliefs. He only has to admit to believing in God to become one. Everyone can be qualified, and when you become a Mason, you make thousands and thousands and thousands of friends all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of anything better to invest yourself in. To me, it's therapeutic. I mean, I've sat that chair 6 times myself.
Oh, wow.
I've been an officer in this lodge for the last 10 or 12 years. Ever since I've been a Mason, I've been an officer in this lodge.
Wow.
So, to me, it's worth doing.
Can you tell me a little bit about the history of this building?
We've been in this community 175 years, and I would say this building was erected somewhere around the turn of the century, so probably been here 120.
Oh, okay. So it's been here a while.
It's been here a minute. It has been here a minute. The guy there on the wall, Nathaniel Benjamin, who we think is the guy wandering around upstairs when you're in here by yourself, walked here from Chillicothe.
Really?
To start this lodge.
Oh, wow.
He has, actually, if you look him up in his history, he is a great Mason in Ohio. He started a lot of Masonic activity here.
Nathaniel Benjamin was the first worshipful master of the lodge, which moved location several times before landing at its present location in 1905.
The bank that's here on the corner was in this building originally.
Okay.
The post office was in the other side. These buildings are the 2 oldest buildings in the town.
Really? I didn't know that.
This is the only 3rd-story building in the town.
I didn't know that either. Do you know of any tragedies that's happened around this building or in this building?
It was told to me by a man who was here at the time it happened at a man worked in the bank, I believe the story was. It's been a while since I heard it. Had made a crucial mistake in his accounting, and being torn up by that, and I guess overrun with his own morals, decided he would take his own life. He went across the street to where there was a hardware store here, bought some cartridges for his handgun, went out in that building and attempted to commit suicide.
After realizing that he had bought the wrong shells for his gun, Sherman Mills went back to the hardware store to swap them out. He then returned to the stone building and ended his life.
So do you know of any paranormal experiences that has happened in this building?
Personally, I've had a few, well, I guess I would consider them paranormal experiences because I can't explain them. I have been in this room and up on this floor lots of times by myself doing repairs or coming to get something or whatever, and you get the feeling that you're not alone in this room. If you're downstairs, you hear people moving around. You hear movement up here. You hear footsteps on the stairs. I think the most eerie thing is it feels like someone is standing behind you sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Almost like you can feel them there, you know.
Yeah.
And it could be in this room. It could be any of these rooms up here. The ladies that occupied the two rental spaces, the one that's gone now, and then the ladies that have been in the beauty shop for 10 years. Once in a while, they'll call me and say, well, you got something going on up there? Well, it sounds like there's all kinds of people up there stomping around.
Oh, wow.
So one of the older guys, he's not with us anymore, but he spent a lot of time up here doing improvements and stuff too, and he named it Big Ben.
Oh, okay.
And it was his belief that it was the founder of the lodge, Nathaniel Benjamin, so we just call him Big Ben. We just kind of make light of it, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, we're leaving now. Hey, I'm in here now, you know.
Yeah. We'll find out. We'll try to communicate with them and see who it is.
Well, I hope you find something.
Me too.
We caught up with a former downstairs tenant, Tina, who had a few paranormal experiences of her own in the building.
So you rented a spot under the lodge, correct?
I did.
Okay, and you had paranormal experiences there?
I did.
Can you tell me a little bit about what happened?
Let's see, the first one, which I was probably there 4 months. I was leaving and coming out and turning down 35. I just live up the street. And as I glanced to the right, I saw a gentleman standing in my window. And I'm like, okay, who's in my shop?
Yeah.
So I did a beeline around the block, flew in, car still run in. Nobody's there. So about a week or two later, Erin at Buckeye Jake's pulled the curtains back, went to turn the light off, and she said she saw a gentleman standing in my shop. So it's about a week later, it's time for my rent. I walk upstairs on Thursdays to go see the guys, how you doing, take them a treat, hand them the rent check, talk to him a minute, and as I turn, there's a picture of a gentleman right on that wall. And I said, oh, hey, that guy was in my shop the other night. And they all went, oh. And they just like cringed. And I'm like, what? And they went, that guy. And I said, yeah, he was standing in the window. And they go, well, we just lost our renter. And I looked at him kind of funny, and I said, what are you talking about? And they said, that's Benjamin. He was the founder of the King Hiram Masonic Lodge back in the 1800s. And I said, oh, that's great. And I started to walk out the door, and I went, oh.
Yeah.
The craziest one was it was about 11:30 at night, and I was with friends. We were just hanging out. Now, there's a side door, okay? That stair leads up, and it's right connected to me.
Yeah.
So when the guys come in on Thursday nights for their meeting, I can hear their footsteps.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I can hear them walking above me. It's about 11:30 at night. My friend Donna and Amanda were sitting there talking, and next thing you know, I hear door shut, and I hear footsteps. And I'm like, it's 11:30 at night. Nobody should be here.
Yeah.
So I go running out my back door, grab a hold of the door. It's locked. No lights are on, nothing. So I go back in. Donna said, who is it? And I said, there's nobody there. So we proceeded to sit there and talk and play with the dogs. Well, the next thing you know, you could hear the floor squeaking. Amanda runs out the front door. I run out the back door. Boom. I can hear them coming down the steps.
Wow.
But the door's locked and there's no one there. So I went back in and I said, all right, Ben, what's up?
Man, yeah, that's some serious paranormal activity.
But I don't think he wasn't out there to hurt anybody. I think he's just taking care of his building. I believe he is there. I believe, and I would tell him every night, good night, Ben. Take care of the place.
A week before our investigation, our medium Steve did a reading of the building.
So when I was first up here, I got a bunch of words, just a bunch of words and some names. I got Emmer or Emmett, John, Caleb, Turner, Fred, then the word pocket, farm, England, foremost, heart attack, gunshot, Holy Michigan, and that came together. So I think those two words together mean something, but I don't know what. A lot of energy, magic, repetition, bakery, time, nervous, blind, frost. So this is where it gets really interesting, and I really would like to look into this and see who this may be. But the first thing I got is blockade Civil War veteran of the Navy. The next guy I got, and I think either his first name or his last name is Douglas. And he's showing me a time in the 1930s, I think. Prayer kept him safe, he says, and the lodge helped him somehow. He was very grateful, but he died feeling like he wasn't ever able to thank the lodge enough. Then there's another spirit, okay, and I really don't know his name unless his name was one of these other ones up here. But this is really interesting. He says that the sunlight looks different to him. I'm assuming either it looks different now than it did back when he was living, or if it looks different to him now that he's passed on, seeing us however he sees us. I don't know. Things are very noisy now, he's saying. And the air smells, which could be gasoline engines, maybe, or something. I don't know. He was a hard worker. He had a great personality. He liked to talk a lot when he was alive. I mean, there's some people that talk, that just loves to talk. Well, that's how he was when he was alive, and apparently he hasn't changed. You know what I mean? The two last things that I got, and I got a Reverend, and then I got the last name, I'm pretty sure Michaels, but I don't know if that goes together or not, how this works. He raised goats, and he used to say that was his other flock. I don't know who that is. And then the last thing I got before Sage came down and got me was there was some turmoil in the lodge here right around World War II, like some arguing or something was going on. I don't know.
Before we wrapped up our interviews, Steve felt that the spirits wanted us to demonstrate some of our equipment to our hosts, but we weren't expecting what followed.
Something more you'd like for me to tell them? Maybe something we can do to help you out?
Ken, clean as day, Ken.
Oh, you're in trouble.
I heard that too.
Ken.
So I'm wondering, do you guys sit in when we're doing work up here? You guys still attending the meetings regular?
Some.
I am.
So we are playing to a packed house. We just don't know it sometimes.
Some.
I am.
So is it gonna be all right if we let these boys continue on the night they're supposed to be here?
Sure. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. All right.
As we were getting things set up for our investigation, Steve noticed these hangers by the stairs swinging continuously. When he noticed this occurring, the rest of the team had been upstairs for some time.
Who's moving these hangers? Can you give us another sign? That's pretty wild that they're still moving.
They're still moving.
They've been moving since you
I
came
filmed
up.
it. I filmed it for a whole minute.
Yeah. That's pretty wild.
There was no draft that could have caused this movement, and none of the other hangers were swinging.
I'm going to intentionally do this. I'm going to stop it.
Okay. Okay, now somebody walk up the stairs.
These right here. Walk down these.
That's pretty heavy steps.
As you can see, the hangers did not swing, even after Thomas walked up and down the stairs heavily.
And there's no temperature change. I put this around the window, I put this over here, and I walked all the way over there, and the temperature is around the exact same temperature. Our guest investigator for tonight is Ken Carter, a Freemason that attends Lodge here and a fellow paranormal investigator. Are you excited?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's do it.
We asked our photographer Thomas to join us on this investigation, due to Hayden traveling.
Hey guys, sorry I couldn't be there for this investigation, but looking forward to seeing what y'all uncover at the lodge. And you got my support here from vacation time, and wish you all the best and can't wait to see it.
As usual, we set up 7 of our stationary cameras in various places around the lodge, including 2 in the lodge room, which is the largest room in the building, 1 in the dining room, and 1 in the library, where pictures of many prominent Masons are displayed. We start this investigation off a little differently than we normally do. Instead of going out with the device right away, we decide to let the cameras roll for a half hour before starting. During this time, we pick up what sounds like a child saying okay and then singing in the lodge room. We've enhanced the singing so that it can be heard more distinctly. Just moments before bringing out our first device, we get a loud sound coming from the lodge room. This is the exact sound that is made when someone raps a gavel, which is a common occurrence in a Masonic lodge. You can even hear this on the other upstairs camera, and it's clearly coming from inside the lodge room. Steve decides to bring the Ovilus 5 out for the first sweep of the building.
Who's over here? Several. Region 80. Several region 80. Bright. List. Who are these people on this wall? I know who they are, but can you tell me what they all have in common?
These responses are significant to us for a couple of reasons. Several, region, 80, could be in reference to the fact that Steve, Devin, and Ken were all members of Libanus Lodge number 80 before its closure. The word bright could be referring to what is known as the light in Freemasonry, which is knowledge. These walls have pictures of all the past masters of King Hiram Lodge. Could it be seen as a bright list?
Slight kid, little. So there, a little kid. So is there a little kid here? Val. Mason! Mason, yes. Club, like chief. So maybe the master. Yes. Yes, I get it. I get it. Let's see. Stars, nation. Oh, well, right there's the flag. Computer. Is there a computer in here?
We were ecstatic to get the word Mason on the Ovilus. But something else to consider is the fact that it said little kid just as Steve entered the room where we heard the singing earlier.
80. This building over here, do you know what happened over there? What happened in that building right over there? Haunting. Who? You, camera, tablet, alone. Okay.
Wait a minute.
You, camera, tablet, alone.
You know what that means?
I think I know what that means.
Could it be referring to our 3D camera?
Washington right here. Oh my gosh. Yes.
We decide to move on to our next device. Ken, Devin, and myself go out with the spirit box to see if we can communicate further.
Is this you? I keep hearing a female.
Did that say Ben?
It might have.
Because you're right in front of Nathaniel Benjamin.
He named it Big Ben.
And I would tell him every night, good night, Ben. Take care of the place.
Can you kneel at the altar? No, I heard that. That sounded to me like a ghost.
What?
Could this be the spirit of Sherman Mills, who committed suicide in the building behind the lodge in 1929?
What was that?
It said gavel. It said gavel. I think it said gavel.
Also, notice this light orb that appears to come from Ken and shoot towards the camera.
What was that? What was that? What is this?
How many people are here?
Look at that. Look at that. Look, it's not the sage. Look, it's not the sage. Oh my God. What is this? It went in the sage.
3505.
That
Camera
orb
1.
stopped it. Sage went in the sage and it. The one just went in the king.
It went down. It went down. It came back up. It's going over the sage.
This is some of the most bizarre orb behavior we have ever witnessed. The way that they seem to move from one person to the other is truly fascinating. This was also only 1 minute after we caught the light orb coming out of Ken.
Hurry. Is that?
Hurry where?
Hurry. Is that?
What did that say? So like, I've been here, or
When we get this response, we are standing just feet away from the altar.
I'm also a Mason. I've attended lodge here several times. Do you remember me? Did I say Devin? Devin.
It sounded like it, yes. Good job.
Thank you. Did I say Devin? Did I say Ken?
I kind of heard that, yes.
I thought that as well. We're just making our rounds with these names.
Do you have a picture on the wall?
Did that sound like, do you?
Yeah, I kind of thought
that. At this point, we want to move on to a brand new piece of equipment for something we've never done before.
So, I'm sending Devin out alone with his full spectrum chest camera. And he's not going to be able to see. He's going to be all by himself, and he's going to be out in the stone building where somebody committed suicide.
Devin also brings a stationary camera and a digital recorder with him to the stone building.
I'm out in the stone building behind King Hiram Masonic Lodge, number 88. Okay, going up the stairs here. This is the building that Sherman Mills committed suicide in 1929. Okay, here we go. Sherman Mills, are you here? It was 1929 when you took your life. Do you know what year it is now? It's been almost 100 years.
Back inside the main building, Thomas volunteers to go up to the lodge room alone to conduct an EVP session of his own.
Is someone in that doorway? I think I see something in that doorway. Can you show yourself clearer to me? I feel like someone's watching me in here. I didn't feel that when I first came in here. I'm getting some chills.
You can talk into this device that I have in my hand, and we have the potential to hear your voice. Okay, my walkie just went off. Let me just make sure that that wasn't... Let's see if that was nerve center by accident. Did you guys just accidentally hit the walkie?
No.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious.
Did you hear it click on your end?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I didn't click it, and I'm sitting down, so it definitely wasn't me.
What the hell?
Did you guys just accidentally hit the walkie?
No.
You can tell that neither Devin nor Steve made the walkie go off because they could both hear the calling noise. The person who calls on the walkie does not hear the noise.
Did you just make my walkie-talkie go off? My face is a little tingly. I know that it wasn't low batteries because I just changed these walkie-talkie batteries, and they're physical AAA batteries unless you've drained them.
What was that? It's like someone moved in front of me. If you'd like to communicate with me, holy crap, please use this device over here. Did you just sit in that chair?
Although Thomas did not capture any EVPs during this session, back at the stone building, the story is a little different for Devin as he heads back downstairs.
I do feel a little creeped out down here as well. I really hope no one's down here trying to scare me, but...
We've slowed down and enhanced the EVP so that you can hear it better. Take another listen. Could this be the voice of a spirit who is angry with our investigation? Possibly that of Sherman Mills? Steve, Ken, and Thomas continue the investigation of the stone building with the spirit box.
Is there anybody in here? I am.
I heard that.
Sherman, is that you? I am.
I heard that.
Sherman, is that you? Why do you feel like you had to kill yourself? Did you work at the bank?
Yes. Yes.
After the responses stop, they head back inside to continue the investigation in the lodge. I grab the direct link and Devin takes the FLIR thermal camera to do a sweep of the building.
Were you an officer here?
The back of this chair has a little heat to it.
I did sit in that one.
You didn't?
No. Make sure it's not the baseboard heater.
Well, I'm seeing that, but
Okay.
I don't know.
This is strange because if it was the baseboard heater that was causing this, all of the chairs would appear this way.
Hi? Hello? Agree? A degree?
Could this be referring to the 3 main degrees of Freemasonry?
Hi? Hello?
We were excited to receive a couple solid responses on the direct link. Next up is our 3D camera, as well as the Ovilus again.
3 Masons, all 3 people that are going to be out doing this are all Freemasons, so.
9.
Are there 9 people here right now?
9 again. 9 members.
9 members?
Oh.
Huge.
Oh, here we go.
Is there a chair there?
It looks like they're sitting in a chair.
There is a chair and it is sitting in that chair.
Who are you?
Oh my gosh. What's that saying?
It's saying about 2 degrees
Colder?
colder.
Ken just used his, what was it, laser thermometer?
Yes.
And it's saying it's about 2 degrees colder.
Can you stand up here and shake our hand? We're Masons, all 3 of us.
How about you go over there, Ken, and see if...
Brave, beg.
Could you shake his hand?
It's reaching towards
It's reaching towards your hand, dude. Could you shake his hand?
You're awful quiet.
Oh, look what it's doing.
It's reaching for your hand.
It's reaching for your hand, Ken.
Oh, I'm so tingly right now. My face is tingly.
Thank you, brother.
It reached right for his hand.
It did.
After the figure disappears, they head upstairs.
Is it 80 again?
Yeah.
80, that's where we came from.
Yeah. Line is number 80.
Okay, brothers, we're here. Can you show yourselves?
I'm sitting in this chair. Tina.
Tina? Did it say Tina?
Yes.
Yeah, she was a girl.
We interviewed, yeah, Tina.
Duty, master.
Did it say master?
Yes. Are you the master? Area threat.
Where are you standing right now, man?
Where I'm not supposed to be.
Although we can't go into much detail, Freemasons will understand the significance of this response.
80.
Oh, here we go. Well, there's a guy that was responsible for moving the hangers. Hey, buddy, we saw you.
Yeah, were you the one making the hangers move earlier?
After the figure disappears, they head out to the stone building with the 3D camera. The only piece of evidence that is captured is this single response on the Ovilus.
Scared.
At this point, we decide it's time to move on.
I'm about to go upstairs alone to the room that I felt very uncomfortable in earlier. So that's going to be fun. And I'm taking the Ovilus 5 and I'm taking an EMF meter. Is there anybody here in this room with me?
I kind of feel cold on my hands. Is there anything that you want to say to me? I'm hearing all those noises from the lodge room.
Because of this, I decide to move locations.
Milk. Older milk smell? Eggs. Eggs again.
Eggs. What's the significance with eggs? You said eggs twice since I've been in this room. Or no, it said milk. I'm getting my dairy mixed up.
I guess we need to inform so eggs are dairy. Hey, Sam.
Yeah, what's up?
You do know that eggs aren't dairy, right?
Eggs aren't dairy?
Do eggs come from cows?
What can I say? Some people know a lot about food. I know a lot about the paranormal.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go downstairs. Children, trip.
After I head back downstairs, we move on to our last sweep of the building. Steve and I feel that we should close our investigation with one last spirit box session.
Douglas. Yeah? Douglas, I felt you when I was here, and you felt like you died without saying something to the Masons. What did you want to say? They did something for you. What did you want to say to them?
That sounded like something.
Yeah?
orb just flew right on out of the spirit box.
Really?
Yep.
This orb appears just as we are picking up an unexplained voice on the spirit box. We then make our way to the lodge room.
Worshipful, what's your name?
That sounds like free.
We believe the name coming across is either John or Tom, Free or Freeman. What do you think?
Tom? Tom?
Who sits here?
Throughout the night, the number of responses that we received on all of our devices had us thinking. We couldn't help but remember what Steve said during his reading.
He liked to talk a lot when he was alive. I mean, there's some people that talk and talk and talk and talk, that just loves to talk. Well, that's how he was when he was alive, and apparently he hasn't changed. You know what I mean?
This seemed like an appropriate place to wrap up our investigation of King Hiram Masonic Lodge. As we walk through our day-to-day lives, our own mortality is usually the furthest thing from our minds. What happens to us after we die? Some claim to know. To others, it is but one of life's many mysteries.
I believe he is there.
It is the belief of many throughout the world that the Freemasons themselves are the guardians of some of these very mysterious secrets.
Mason, yes.
As paranormal investigators, we shine a light into the darkness. We offer the dead a chance to communicate and show the living that there is much more to our existence.
What was that?
It said gavel. It said gavel. I think it said gavel.
So for now, look into the light. We must live life to the fullest until our own light is snuffed out on this earth.
For the latest news on Midnight's Light Paranormal, like us on our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and follow us on Instagram. All of these links can be accessed under the About tab on our YouTube channel.